So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back and kind of summarize what we've said. So on the Rossi and this type of development, does anybody have any questions? Come on up. Come on up. You can speak in the mic, or you can do it from there.
You gotta speak up.
Keith has to repeat the question. Is there a restriction on height?
So that's it. The height, there is restrictions on heights, okay? But, and we're not gonna get too deep on this, but how much higher do you think stuff's gonna go with the state now? Do you know or don't know? Yeah, they're proposing as much as 5 feet, but every zone has a height limit, right? And they're not all equal, correct? There are different zones have different heights. So, but when something like this is built, yes, it still has to be under the height. I don't know if we want houses to go up another 5 feet or not, but we're probably not gonna have a choice. And that actually further, in my mind, would make this even a little bit better. Does anybody else have a question? Want to come up or just?
My question is on the parking, housing, or the parking regulations. Where do pools fit into that? Because on our street, we have 4 pools that have been put into homes that were already there. And certainly that impacts parking. You can't park on a pool. So where does that fit?
Well, the people have tried to do that. Not me. So if I do the Rossi and we apply and we get it, right? If we all agree to do it and we apply, it's still going to be 555. So the developer's going to have to figure it out. Okay. And that's the beauty of it, because the only way you can make this work, okay, is in fact to have that Rossi pass. Here, if that lot was big enough, they could put a pool in, because all I'm asking is that the hole underneath is open. Now, they don't have to park there. I'm not requiring them to park there, but it makes really good sense. Now, not everybody parks in their driveway. This is one of my favorites. Okay. Got the furniture out. So that's one of my favorites. So we're not forcing people. So if this lot was wider or deeper and they could put a pool in, they could. And if they wanted to put a tiki bar in here on the cement, they could. Okay. So, you know, because they can have all the parking requirements met, but I still have this open. Okay. So now you have company, you're good. If we're able to go to this will immensely change our parking in this town, immensely. And so far, everybody I've showed it to, not one person said it's not a good idea. So can I raise a hands of how many people think this is a good idea? Okay, that's good, good. So it's not, okay? But you know, I can't force people to do things. But if it was me, it's just common sense. I mean, there's always going to be somebody that doesn't do it. My dad always used to laugh because we moved somewhere and people moving next door were always slobs. That like, will you stop picking the house? You know, so there's only so much you can do. But I still think that this is viable. It's beautiful. And I talk to the people that live there and they love it because they pull in, they take their groceries up, and it's just very, very functional and it's beautiful. And I just think if we can incorporate this in some of our areas, our parking situation goes away. I'm not going to give out addresses. It's on Bay Avenue. I'm not. Yeah, I don't want to give out addresses. That's a little over the top.
3 floors. After Sandy, zoning was changed so it would go up. And as we're talking about, it's gonna go up even further, so we could get maybe 5 floors at this point. Thank you.
So,
But the other thing I'm concerned about is on the square footage of a house. And what you have now is a 30 by 50-foot lot that basically can have, we'll say, 2,400 square feet. Well, there should be a limit to how much square footage should be based on the lot size. And if it was 30.
that'll be another meeting. Right now, I'm just want to focus on this. If you have a question, in the essence of time, ask the question. Statements give to me later. I just need a short question that I can answer, and we'll be here all day, okay? Who's next? Right here.
We need you to use the mic just so that people on Zoom can hear you. So that's why I'm running around with the mic.
They fell down and rest in peace.
So I have two questions. Number one, I have a home that currently has a shed, but it's an older home and considered a tear down. Would I be allowed to build a garage in that same footprint of the shed, but without triggering the need for all the additional zoning requirements and raising my home? Now, that might be something that you haven't considered yet, but it would certainly increase my parking dramatically.
Maybe.
So that's something to consider, and I'll have an allowance.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to take specific zoning questions.
Yeah, but it's
We
something
could do
to
them
consider.
afterwards because I've got a lot to go over.
Yep.
So if you have a specific zoning question about your house, I'll be glad to take it afterwards, and I'll be glad to talk to Dottie about it. Right now, I've just got to focus on questions about this.
Yep.
Okay,
And
just
my
gotta
second
focus.
question is, will Ocean City have any possibilities of, for example, lots where numerous cars can park and then additional trolleys or additional busing so that there's not going to be so many tourists trying to park right by the boardwalk? But by having these further out lots, that could certainly solve some of that problem.
That's another issue that I won't address here, but.
Gotcha. Not on your radar yet. Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to that for sure, but I need to really stay focused. I don't want people here all day. You have things that you want to do. I need to focus on this and this.
Okay.
Just, if you have a question, not a statement, but a question on either this or this, because we have a lot to go over, folks.
A question. The amusement park, Gillian's. This is the reason why we're here. This is what we need to talk about. And
Sir,
I
sir,
would like,
sir,
excuse
sir,
me,
sir,
excuse me,
sir,
and I
sir,
would like
I'm
you to
going
give us
to
some
talk about it.
answers as to what
Sir.
is your plan in that.
I'm
restaurant.
going to talk
Thank
about
you.
that. I have an agenda here. I have to go through it. Folks, please be respectful. Okay, we're going to talk about that. But right now, I have to go through these things. Okay, so we will talk about it, but I want to stay focused on questions concerning this and this. Otherwise, we'll be here all day and no one wants to be here all day. I need to move the meeting along the best that I can. Somebody has a question over here? Yes.
Okay, that's a great idea, and that'll take years and years and years before people will feel the effects. So that's a great idea, parking wise, lots of years before we ever see a satisfaction to parking. How does Ocean City deal with cramped parking now? I live on 10th Street. In the summertime, you can't find a place to park. And people are parking on the sidewalk. People are parking in front of your driveway. You can't get out of your beautiful little location because people are parking in there. What is our recourse right now for illegal parking? Nobody comes to the rescue.
No,
on
you can
Saturday
call-
or
you can call the
Sunday.
non-emergency number. And the police have been very responsive. So
Okay.
it's not an emergency. Non-emergency number 609-399-9111.
Okay.
And I can tell you categorically that they do come, they do answer. So I've had very good success. Our new chief is fantastic. Great
Okay.
job, great job. So that's all you do is you call the non-emergency number. Somebody will take the call. They will send somebody out.
All right, so I have to run to the Acme and I got to make that phone call. And it might take a couple of hours before somebody actually finds the person who owns that car. It's very complicated. good idea, but
That's the
there
best I
are
can
other
do.
kind of records.
It's the best I can do. Back there, Sherry.
I have a question and it's enforcement. We have a, we have a master plan that's voted on by council and it's an ordinance. Then a builder comes in, knocks down a house and he wants to build a house there or shop or whatever. It calls for a 6-foot setback. They go into the planning board and say they want 1 foot and they get it granted. You get the right same attorney that is batting 1,000% the planning board. You can make all the master plans about heights and widths and how many setbacks, but if you don't enforce the rules, it's useless.
So these two things are a start for me to get these passed so that we can get there. Now, in future meetings, I will talk about setbacks, okay? I will talk about lot coverage. But as you can see, this is a lot. So I tried to start what I thought was something that people would embrace. It would be easy to get support, from our council. So I try to go with things that make common sense. Down the road, I will address every issue. Each meeting, there'll be 1 or 2 issues about lot sizes or whatever it may be, okay? So I will do that. But, I can't, Rome wasn't built in a day and I can't do it all in one day. But I think that these two will go a long way to correct the problem. Because what will happen is when you have to do 5 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, 5 parking spots, it's automatically going to shrink the house a little bit. And that to me is a good idea. So, and it might change the house where the person says, you know what, I'll go with 4 bedrooms. So we just got to create parking. That's mainly what I'm trying to do. Any other questions on this?
Specifically, what do you want us to do to give you support for this? What do we need to do if we support it?
We're in a church, pray. No. So I'll be sitting, I have a meeting with the mayor and George and the council president and vice president on Monday. I'm sure we'll talk about this a little bit. This isn't news to George. I've spoken to him about this before. And Mike Allegretto, he knew this was coming. And I just think, as we go, we'll keep you abreast of where we're going with this, what we think we can do and we can't do. And, in presenting it, it looks easy, but I'm sure Dottie's going to tell me immediately after here, it's going to be a lot of work. That's why she makes the big bucks. She's very good and she won't leave any stone unturned. And she'll explain to me both the pros and the cons because they're all pros right now, but there'll be cons. That's her job. Her job's to go through it with a fine tooth comb, and we'll keep you informed. I'll do press releases as we go. I'll also be on my page. The other thing is a lot of council people are here. You should email your council people and as time goes and say, I like this concept. I want this concept. Now, remember, the Rossi part, I really can only do in the 2nd ward because I'm not sure the rest of the wards qualify for that. No, that could go in other zones. And that's what I think is going to be fascinating as I talk to Dottie and get her assistance on whether or not I could do this. It's going to be zone driven, I think, wouldn't you think? Yeah, so it's going to be, because there's zones that it's not necessary. I mean, Ocean City homes, it's fine. You know what I mean? So I have to be careful that I'm not putting these in places where it's making the neighborhood worse, all right? I have to put it in places where it makes the neighborhood better, okay? And realistically, if you don't live in Ward 2, ward guys, they're the best. I was at large. You don't get as many calls unless the ward guys stink. We have good ward guys, and they're your first line of defense when you have a question. I know Dave handles a ton of calls. They all, Jody, I see it all the time, and Terry does. And that's really want to go initially is talk to your ward person. Do I have any more questions on these two things here? Any questions about dumpsters and that? Dottie, yellow lines, That's a state issue, right? Yeah. No, can it be changed, is what's his question? State law.
There's not visibility if you make it shorter. There's more access.
Okay, so now we'll go to open mic time. If you have a non-Wonderland concern, raise your hand. Does anybody? All right, I'm gonna take the non-Wonderland concerns first, and then I'll do the Wonderland concerns, okay? So, okay, Peter?
Thank you. Keith, first of all, I want to thank you for having this meeting. I think it's tremendous to bring the city together. I think it's also great that the mayor and George and Dottie and you councilmen come to this meeting. I got an issue that seems to be not addressed, and now it's at a critical stage. And this lady on 10th Street is not aware of this. So everybody knows the large parking lot at 10th and Ocean. 5 years ago, 4.5 years ago, they got approval to build a 100-room condominium on that property. We're 4.5 years in. It's at a critical stage because after 5 years, they lose all the plans and they have to start over. The Heckler brothers are desperate. They're dealing with a builder right now. The engineers have contacted me. The builders have contacted me. And Park America has contacted me that they've received a letter that they might not be doing parking next year because that will be a new owner of that lot. If we lose that parking lot, Keith, it's going to be a disaster. I look at this plan here and Dottie's here. CAFRA, to give you 5 parking spots for 5-bedroom, that's going to be a miracle. They're building
We're in a church.
They're building a 100-room hotel, and they got approval of 1 parking space for each 3-bedroom unit. We have 152 deeded spots. They're going to have 100 units. There's only 400 spots approved. There's going to be no parking for the boardwalk merchants or this city. 10th Street, 11th Street, and the middle of this town is going to be a nightmare. So we just bought 44 spots for 3.3 million. I think that's the number, if I'm correct. Supposedly, the Heckler brothers will take 12 million for 300 spots. And I don't think anybody has even talked about it in council or anyone is even aware of the situation. But I think it's something that the city better look at carefully, or you're going to lose a heck of a town. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Peter. The mayor wants to jump in, and I was going to ask him to do so. We're like mine.
How nice when we work together. That's what we should be doing. Where's Pete at? Pete, this is what the negotiations, this is what's tough when with the administration, we go look at different things. And again, so we've been looking at this for multiple months. I don't think they're going to take what you said. So, and this is the one thing I've said to everybody. Everybody goes on social media, they talk to their best friend, everybody thinks they know what they're talking about. And when it comes to the Soleil project, a lot of misinformation are going out there, but we agree it's something we've been talking about for a long time of what can we do. We were talking about, a couple months ago, people that didn't seem like they bothered to spend 30, 40, 50 million on a parking garage. I know people are upset, that we'd even think about that because we have a lot of work to do. But at the end of the day, I can tell you, administration wise, we're talking with them, we're working with them, and I believe you more than anything. If that parking lot, we lose that, that's a hell of a loss, and especially if that end of the boardwalk, because again, you see what's happening at 6th Street. So again, it's a whole different world now, guys. And so it's, when people come in here and they do things years ago, I mean, how long ago was that done? I mean, 20 years ago, I think. Were you on council? No. I'll say we can't blame you. But on seriousness, because it's not a joking matter, but everything we've been talking about today, we take very seriously. But we have to take the time and get the facts and information before we become public. So, but we're looking at it. So, Again, I'm not debating how you got your information, because I'm not degrading or dismissing everybody. I'm just saying the general thing is everyone has an opinion, and 9 times out of 10, it's usually wrong. A little bit right, but then that's what gets all the anger and all the things going on. But at the end of the day, that property has been on the administration site since I've been mayor. And it's been going back and forth. And the problem is because they have the approvals, that's what makes the money. That's why it's so. So like you said, if the 5 years and the appraisals are going, and whether they're desperate or not, but it's still a big chunk of land down there. So the city is definitely looking at it. And when we get to a point, we're going to go to council, see what they say. And if they want to do something, then we'll come to the public.
Thank you, Mayor. Another, right here.
Hi, Keith, and thank you. I just wanted to ask a general question regarding city council. Is there ever going to be an opportunity for you to continue all meetings in person? I mean, you have the Zoom meeting and you have one evening meeting. I don't understand why they can't all be in the evening. Or I'm sorry, you have a 10 o'clock meeting rather in the morning. Many of us work. And we are full-time residents and we're not able to attend some of these meetings. So in full transparency, can you please have these meetings in the evening? So those of us who do work or live here or don't even live here and do want to attend after work and come into the city can attend.
Okay, I agree with you, but I got to get other people to agree with you. Honestly, if it was up to me, I'd like to have a 10 o'clock Saturday morning city council meeting only because then everybody can go. But that's just me. That's my personal thing. I don't know if that would fly so much.
Thank you. I'm a resident on Walton Place, and thank you, Bob, and thank you for adding us to the agenda on our lagoon. I know it doesn't refer to everyone here, but we have 24 homeowners, and there's a lot of us here today. This has been going on for quite some time. As Bob said, it's the smallest lagoon in all of Ocean City. It's always been residential. The proposed pier there, marina, is 10 docks or 10 boats, 35-foot long. I have a 21-foot boat, and the boat has to be turned around. The boat has to be turned around doing a K-turn in that lagoon. It's the only original man-made lagoon in Ocean City. Always has been residential. There are kids and people on paddle boats and people swimming and rafts and all. I ask you, has the council been to our lagoon? I know you have, and thank you for that, to see how this is really a residential area and 10 docks with 35-foot boats in there is not right for this area.
Okay, thank you.
I invite the mayor, please come see what we're talking about. You'll see activity of people in the lagoon every single day. It's a family lagoon, always has been. We just ask that they don't make it into a marina.
Okay.
And change.
All right,
And
thank you.
safety wise, it's important.
Thank you. I know the mayor's been there. I've been there with George more than once. Jody and I've been there. I know Sean knows it well. And Dave's been there, so.
My question, I'm sorry, what is the process for us to know what the outcome is? We haven't heard anything at all. First of all, from the Army Corps of Engineers, where that stands. It's been quite some long process. And what Ocean City City Council is going to do as far as voting on whether this is going to go through or not. Like, we're waiting for months and we don't know what's going on.
You were with the Corps. I mean, it happens when it happens, correct? I mean, you could, I mean, Dad was with the Corps too. You can't guess when it's coming, do you? Or no, or would you know?
Okay, once that's done, will the city council have meetings and before this final decision is being made?
Sure. We'll come, if it comes to enforce, yes. If that's the avenue it takes, we'd absolutely talk about it.
Okay.
But again, my father worked for Corps many years in FEMA. It moves at the pace it moves. Right here, thank you. Try to keep your questions as quick as you can because we're gonna run out of.
It's a question about the beach. So what's the plan for beach replenishment, or especially around 4th and 5th Street?
Mayor says winner of 25. Where's Bob Marzulli? Okay, Bob Marzulli back there.
Approximately 3 or 4 years ago, we asked to have signs put up on West and Bay Avenue, no truck route. They were gracious enough to do it, but I have to tell you, I have more trucks now coming up that street than we ever had before. Nobody ever takes a look at it, and somebody's going to get hurt. Because there's a light at 8th and there's a light at 6th. Everybody takes 7th Street from West to Bay. There's a stop sign at Haven, but nobody uses it. So I don't understand why we put them up and then there's no enforcement to it. And it's been ticking me off for quite some time. And I thought maybe this was the time to do it. So anyway.
Well, you came to the right place. The mayor's writing that down. He's going to get with the chief on that. And either myself or the mayor will follow up with you as soon as we have something definitive. If it gets bad at a particular time, you have my cell phone number. Call me. That's my job. I walk by your house all the time with the dog. You know that. So you just reach out, and I know the mayor will do what he can to take a look at this. And again, our police chief is really great. Has been very responsive. So we'll definitely look at that. Correct, Mayor? Okay. Right there.
On this gentleman's point around the commercial vehicles, I have a house on 8th Street here, and this may not be applicable to the entire ward, but the commercial vehicles that come down every day. I've got kids that are outside. It's over the top. It really is, and they're not following the speed limit, number one. Second thing is, 8th Street is used as a raceway to get to that light, to beat that light. The third thing I'll make, and maybe if this isn't in the forum, I want to have really a conversation around the safety issue of 4th of July. On 8th Street, cars, I sat on my porch and watched 10, 15, 20 cars go down the wrong side of the road on 8th Avenue, run the red light, almost hit people coming back from the fireworks. I get there's a massive influx of people that come 4th of July. However, when you have families coming back from 4th of July fireworks, people riding their bikes, and people running the red light on the wrong side of the road, 50 miles an hour, I, as a homeowner, have it's incredibly concerning. I will realize the police are overwhelmed that I call some mountain through what was going on and slow it down. We'll be out there, not one cop car for 3 hours. So this is my first meeting. I appreciate the forum, appreciate the opportunity, but it's something that needs to be addressed. I get it, it's an event, but we don't want an event to become a massive safety issue at 8th and Bay, and it's becoming that.
Okay. The mayor's got that written down as well. Well, hang on one second. Hang on one second. Hang on. This is a regular ward meeting, okay? Everything essential to the ward is going to get discussed. This was never a forum on Wonderland. I will stay here all day. But this, I have to do my regular business, okay? I had things to introduce that could possibly be ordinances and address parking. I have other concerns that people have. As soon as those concerns are addressed, people that want to stay can stay. I'll stay here as long as it takes. But I have other business to do. Everybody's business and everything that everybody has to say is equally important here, okay? Do I have anybody else on regular business? Yes.
Thanks Keith for having this. Just one quick question. Will the bridge lights be restored ever?
That's a state project. We have no control over it. They went out to bid, they awarded it. My understanding is they're going to start at the end of this year and be ready by springtime.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, looks like we've got all the questions. So I'm gonna make a few brief comments about Wonderland and then, excuse me. I'm gonna make a few brief comments.
Excuse us.
Mr. Mita owns it. It's his. Mr. Mita has asked for 6 months to review what he thinks he can do with the property, okay? He's serious about it. Mr. Mita, I've talked to him many times. Jay will attest to this, and I think George, anybody's met him, he's a super nice guy. He's a good man, okay? He understands the historic significance of Wonderland, but he's also a capitalist, okay? So do I know what he's gonna do? No. Does the mayor know what he's gonna do? No. He knows what he's gonna do. If you ever get a chance to go to an Icona property, and I'm not saying that's what's going to be there, I'm just saying detailed wise, this guy's gonna go through and look at every possibility, everything he can and cannot do, and then he's gonna come to us. I would imagine we end up in a town hall meeting and not a ward meeting. He's gonna come to us to explain it. So at this point, it's private property and it's his. I did talk to him this week. He has zero interest in selling it, but he has an interest in doing something with it. And he is not around today, but this meeting will be up on YouTube. And he's going to watch that meeting when he gets a chance. So all your voices will be heard, okay? But for my money right now, I can't tell you anything because I don't know anything. And I'm letting him have that 6 months because I'm hoping in that 6-month period, excuse me?
That property was owned by Gillian, right?
Yes.
He came in and bought his.
All right, first of all, it's a private business. Listen, I'm gonna give everybody what's going on. So you're hearing from me, everybody wants this. And it's unbelievable because it is my private life, my business, but it seems like that's everybody's thing. So let's go back to Sandy. I went and started an amusement park in Seattle. We got wiped out. Got wiped out in Seattle, got wiped out here at Wonderland, had a lot of problems. So just go from there. Lost a brother with a water park, a lot of personal, a lot of private things, a lot of, it's just business. So at the end of the day is we had Sandy, COVID came in and knocked me, but I couldn't pay the bills. I mean, when you talk about the governor and all the things that they do, they doubled the payroll. Everybody thinks that's great. So my payroll went from 40 to 80,000. So my payroll last week, so here we are, open thing, 80,000. I'm $1,000 out of 80,000 for payroll. I've tried my hardest to keep Wonderland going. If anyone knows me, and again, you can believe all the stuff you hear on social media, but at the end of the day it's, grandfather came here in 1930 and it's been a family thing that we've done. I've tried everything. And okay, so let me finish.
Please be respectful.
The city, listen.
Hold on. Please be respectful. When the mayor's speaking, let him speak. It is sold, it is in somebody else's hands. It doesn't matter how it got there, folks. It's there, okay? I deal in the real world. So to go backwards and talk about how it happened, it's already happened. We can't undo the past. He tried his hardest not for that to happen, and I have great empathy for that. And he's got a lot of courage standing up in front of here and talking to you folks about it.
So again, we clear the social media thing up. So at the end of the day is when COVID came and the banks have regulations. When they put a loan in distress, people go crazy. And I will tell you the one thing about Mr. Mita is if he had not come in, Wonderland had been gone. It would have been a dirt lot. So we can say whatever we want about people, but at the end of the day is Eustace gave me 3 years to try to put myself get back on my feet. And, it tried. And then this year, again, I tried again. And, before I even wake up in the morning, I'm about 4 million in debt between payroll, insurance, you can imagine my insurance is like, and then just the upkeep. I mean, this year I spent $100 grand trying to get a ride ready, new drives, new everything. And it went up to the state engineers and they didn't like it. And they just kept doing it. So that's the other thing that you don't understand is, or not, it's hard to do is in the amusement business, it's difficult, but again, anyone that's been close or knows me, all that kind of stuff, believe me, it is something that I I'm up there fixing the log flume. I'm changing 100-pound and 50-pound drum. Where's Bug back there, right? My man back there. I mean, he understands what I've been going through and, you know, the loss to him, and he's down at Playland right now. And I'm going to tell you something. Let's talk about Playland. Beautiful. It's clean. It does everything. So yeah, are we losing Wonderland? Who knows what's going to happen in the future? But at the end of the day, in Ocean City, we have an amazing amusement park. It's safe, top notch. And again, I can vouch for the guy that is probably in charge of keeping them all safe. It's beautiful. Your boardwalk is beautiful. You know, this tone, and I've said this many times too, it's what comes out of your mouth. And when someone comes at you and they say, oh, this or that, whoa, how lucky are we here in Ocean City? Believe me, I hope to God something happens up at Wonderland. I've had many people come to me, and like Eustace said, whether he wants to sell it or not, I haven't stopped fighting. But at the end of the day, reality is hard sometimes. And when a bank says, you know what, and I was close multiple times to get money, but at the end of the day, when you have somebody that will take that bad loan off a bank, they're going to do it. So again, the real world is difficult, but you know, we've been able to. I'm proud of what we've been able to do, and believe me, if I could do more, I would. But you know, like I said, it's an expensive business, and I get, well, how can Playland do it? And I do it. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know what happens in the boardroom, and that's what upsets me more than anything. All the experts, all the opinions. You guys don't know what Playland does or Mac and Manco. You don't know what they do. People think they have opinions and they know it, but this has been a hard time. But I'm happy. I'm content. And believe me, I have a lot of good people around me. I've talked to a lot of amusement people. You talk to any amusement people, especially in New Jersey, it's difficult. And a lot of Six Flags and all that, it's big corporations now that really buy anything. You look at Amazon, you look at where our country's going right now. Our mom and pop stores, what are we getting? You know, they double our payroll. And I know people think that's great, but you know, if you have a shop and you have 4 or 5 people, I have 75 to 80. I got 15-year-old kids making, you know, $16, $17 an hour. I mean, I wasn't making that when I was younger, but that's life now. You have to accept, you have to accept what comes in before you. And that's why I love about Ocean City. We're going to be great no matter what we do. What we do at Wonderland, whatever happens there, and I've talked to you a couple of times, he wants to talk to people. He wants to know what Ocean City wants. Keith's trying to do that. The council talks to him. But I'm telling you, it is heart-wrenching. And I appreciate all the pictures and everything I've been getting. I'm telling you, if I had a magic wand, and like he said, you said he wants to write me a check for 20, 30 million, I'll take it and do that. Oh, was it 50? Okay, I'm sorry.
23 million.
No, but again, it's a serious matter. And what everybody wants to say is, look, I tried my hardest. And again, it didn't work. But I mean, my dad would have been 95 this year. So for 95 years doing amusements in Ocean City, I think that's a hell of a run. But that doesn't mean it's over. But again, in Ocean City, you have an amazing, amazing amusement park still. And the only thing I can say to, go there, spend your money. Because I tell you, you know, when you look at that nor'easter coaster and all the things that he does there, and I'm telling you, I'm almost jealous how beautiful it is. But when I walked in there a couple of times this summer and I thought, oh my God, this is what an amusement park is.
I raised my hand.
It's right in the
Enjoy
center of
that.
action.
I think they're done with Zoom.
I appreciate that. And again, I know today sort of got, again, this is that social media thing. At the end of the day is, nobody knows what's going on. It is a private business and it's got to go through council. It's got to go through so many things to get done. And, you know, the neighborhood will be involved. But again, this is a difficult thing. I know people want instant gratification on things, but, you know, sometimes if you really want something to work, it takes time. So thank you.
Here's you got a question here.
I've been coming into Ocean City now for almost 50 years. You know, I've grown up going on those rides there. It's what great memories. Our daughters, you know, we've owned a place here for many years now. Our daughters are 11 and 13. My daughter chipped her tooth, I think, on the
Will I
Caterpillar
raise my
roller
hand
coaster when
on
she was probably
Zoom?
2, I want to say. But just amazing memories. So, what I want to just say about the Wonderland,
Just
we have an
react.
amazing community here of people. You know, we have probably the best boardwalk in the world. We are America's greatest family resort. We have a strong surfing community here as well. Ocean City, Wonderland sits right on the iconic, you know, famous 7th Street surfing beach. We have plenty of hotels. We have plenty of homes here. There's plenty of people that come to this town. We don't need another residential property. We don't know what Eustace is going to do with the property. He's gonna have to go through the process. He's gonna have to go through zoning. We talked a lot about zoning today. The property is zoned on boardwalk zoning. It's also in the special improvement district. There are very clear restrictions as to what you can and can't do on there. Amusements is one of those things. What I would say is we also have a lot of local expertise within our town. Rob Kelly, many of you may know him, we have a lot of professional surfers within our community that have grown up here, have come out of this. They surf around the world. Rob also does some amazing things. He actually builds wave pools around the world. Cruz de Nofa is another one of those. They were over in Tokyo not that long ago for a surfing competition at what's called a perfect swell wave pool. Wonderland would be the ideal location for a world-class perfect swell wave pool. It could be indoor, outdoor. You could put a retractable roof on. You could keep the iconic historic Wonderland front. You could call it Wonder Swell for no, I've actually reached out to use this, presented this to him. I mean, we could bring in people from around the world to Ocean City and show them our great community through this. So he said he's exploring other opportunities right now or other ideas at this time, but he's not opposed to it. So I would encourage you, it's a great opportunity. It's right there at the beach. There's a lot of things you have to do, but no zoning changes would have to happen for that. So I would encourage all the council members that are here today, planning board members as they come through, hold to the zoning. If he wants to build something residential, if he wants to build a hotel, which is kind of what his company does, they build beautiful properties. It doesn't fit. It's not allowed within that district. So something would have to give, something would have to change. Please don't change it. Please don't allow it. Use the leverage you have as city council. I would also hope that the special improvement district and the management board that oversees that there are not funds that go towards, any other property or any other use that would not be allowed under the current use within that zoning. So thank you all. Thank you, Keith, for having this today. Thank you. Question?
Dan's working the mic, so
Any questions, folks? Just raise your hand if you have a question.
And folks, if all your concerns have been addressed, you can get up at any time and go home. I will not be offended. So if you want to stay, stay. If not, yes.
Hi. First of all, I would like to thank Mayor Gillian for speaking. I respect you. I know you've been through a lot this month. And I think it shows true character that you are here. And my daughter used to work at the water park. And we live at Brighton Place. So we face you every day. And I had other family come down to take pictures of the iconic Ferris wheel, which I will miss if it goes away. But my main concern right now was last year when Mr. Mita was presenting the drawings. He was talking about building on the city land, not on Wonderland. So there are dunes there. And I did call the EPA and various, environmental agencies. So that would be my main concern right now, that the city council and zoning people will keep that as open land. And I do think what this gentleman back here said, with the surfing community being so large and actually renowned in Ocean City, that would be a wonderful alternative. If, I don't believe we do need a big fancy hotel. That is not Ocean City. That is, and thank you.
So in response to your question, Mr. Mita is addressing the Wonderland property. The other property he's not addressing, that's off to the side. So when it comes to the surfing thing, I'd have abstained from the vote because my girlfriend owns 7th Street Surf Shop, but I think she'd be thrilled with that, by the way.
Yes. First of all, I thank Mayor Gillian for being here. It means a lot. I know that it's out of everyone's hand. that it's been sold. But my concern is what happened to us next door on St. Charles Place. We have 5 bedrooms, 5 baths, 1 parking car for car, 1. I don't understand zoning. So my wish is that council will keep the zoning department faithful to what rules have been established, because all rules were broken with this house, and I don't know how it got done. Zoning seems to be a key factor to not waver and not be influenced.
My response to you is if you have a specific concern about a property in your neighborhood, your first line of defense would be to get a hold of your council person, Terry Crowley. He'll come out and speak to you about it. And that would be the first line of defense that I would go with. He's very good about that.
Hey, folks, I'm running around getting the mic to people as fast as possible. Just all you got to do is raise your hand, but we can only do one at a time. So here you go.
One at a time is good enough. I'm sorry, did I miss something? I didn't hear anything about the amusement park, Gillian, and what are the plans for that? That is our concern.
6 months. He said he's going to take 6 months to evaluate. From what I'm reminded.
I'll address it again. He owns it. He said he's going to take 6 months to evaluate it. Everything's on the table, but I don't know what he's going to do. He's going to look at every possible thing that he could do with that property. That I don't know that he's going to, sir, I don't know. He's going to get back to us. He owns the property. Excuse me?
All we could do is just pray.
Okay. The whole city. Yes, of course. And everybody here is aware of that, sir. We all feel we're all Ocean City people, but just bear in mind, you have to give the man his 6 months, don't you? Isn't it just reasonable to give him his 6 months to let him look at the whole thing? And then when the 6 months is
You're
over.
going to be involved, sir,
And
in
then when
6 months.
And when the 6 months is over, I'm sure he's going to make a presentation.
In 6 months, he's going to make a public presentation, and then we'll all know. And listen, every one of us on council, everyone in the administration, everybody that works for the city, and everybody that live here have the same concern. You're not alone. And we're not going to hide anything. I mean, he just got up and poured his heart out about his life. Is that not transparency? I don't know what is, okay? Nothing's going to be hidden on this. There's no ulterior motive. Okay, but you got to get, the guy asked for 6 months. I don't know. Maybe that's a $50 million investment. I don't know what it is, but I can tell you if it is, I can't, if you gave me that property and $50 million, it would, let's say me and the mayor went in on it. Wait, okay, it would take us 6 months to a year to figure out what to do with it, sir.
Come on. Come on.
We've answered that and I'll re-answer it again. Okay, the mayor did a great job of answering that. So there's a million things and a million ways it could go. It could go in front of one of our boards. It could go in front of city council. But wherever it goes, they're public meetings. You'll know when the public meeting is. You'll be able to go to it. So right now, it's zoned as it is. If somebody wants to put a hotel there, and I'm not saying that's what it's going to be, they would have to go through a ton of hoops. The mayor has said that. Right. Well, there's all different ways. What's that? It's zoned as what it is currently. You want to explain it?
Come on.
That property is zoned the same way the rest of the on boardwalk zone is zoned. Amusements, restaurants, shops. The property is zoned the way the entire on boardwalk zone from 5th Street to 14th Street is zoned. Amusements, restaurants, shops. No residential is permitted as of right.
Sir, sir, I'm repeating myself over and over, and I've got to stop. Let's get somebody else in. It's zoned as it is. If the zoning changes, there's a million ways it can change, and all those will be public, all those will be transparent. I can't say it to you any other way. I just can't. Yes.
Okay, thanks to the mayor for coming. He's right. The rumor mill is running rampant. One of those rumors is that if a hotel is built there and it has X amount of rooms, and I'm not sure how many rooms that is, that they automatically will get by the state law a liquor license.
It's not true.
Okay.
It's not true, and Councilman Winslow did a great job the other night of going through that and explaining that. So it would have to go in front of city council, and I can tell you there's not anybody sitting up there that would vote yes for that. So when people say there's a pathway, there is, but they got to vote on it too. So because we don't have liquor at all, it's not automatic. Okay, so it's not, as far as I'm concerned, it's not going to happen in any time that any of us are serving. I mean, if ever I could guarantee something, I'll guarantee that. Okay, I mean, I know all these guys. We don't always all agree on everything, but these are great people to work with. But I know on this one, we're about as unanimous as you're going to get. Okay. Okay.
Keith, is there a Facebook page that you have for our ward? I think it's great. There's a lot of things that came up today that I wasn't aware of in our ward, like the 10th Street, I didn't know. I know from the old homes and from the Friends of and Culture and History, I've known some of that.
Yeah.
But there's a lot that was talked about today going forward. Is there a?
Yeah, Second Ward, Council Hartzell. Okay.
Facebook?
Facebook, yeah.
Yeah, and there's a Facebook feed of this meeting that's streaming now on Facebook. We'll also upload a video of the meeting today that probably won't get up there until tomorrow, but that will be available at keithphartzell.com. keithphartzell.com.
Good morning. My name is Helen Struckman, and my family's been on this island since the early 1900s. My grandfather, Reuben Oves, joined the Ocean City Beach Patrol in 1910. My uncle, Tom Oves, who recently passed away, joined in 1950. I'm blessed to still have the childhood home that my grandparents bought nearly a century ago. I'm able to keep that home because of the rental income that I'm able to generate by sharing my home with travelers in the summer season. Families who have clearly said they would no longer return if Wonderland is gone. Opening in 1965, Wonderland has been the biggest draw for tourism, and it's been a symbol in the heart of Ocean City. It's what makes Ocean City so special and establishes it as America's greatest family resort. And as far as I'm aware, Ocean City is the only dry coastal family town left. In fact, there's only 8 coastal amusement parks left in existence on the entire East Coast. And it's the major family-friendly identity and the draw from Wonderland. While alcohol and adult activities are favored by developers, our family-friendly identity and ban of alcohol is exactly what makes us stand out from all other competition. According to travel resort reports, Ocean City is consistently in the top 2 of favorite destinations, along with Cape May, specifically because of its family-friendly atmosphere. It's way ahead of Margate, Avalon, Stone Harbor, Wildwood, Atlantic City, all the rest of them. The reason, again, is because of the family-friendly atmosphere. And I understand that this is a privately owned property. However, our motto is America's greatest family resort. What are we going to change it to when there's nothing left for families? We can't allow this symbol of Ocean City to die without fully studying the impact. It's not a question, it's a statement. I think it's very important, and that is that this Wonderland, Ocean City is basically like an endangered species. And Wonderland is the exact thing that's stopping it from going extinct. Because if you allow zoning, and again, I understand that all this has to do with zoning, but if you allow zoning to allow hotels on the boardwalk, that is the dam that is stopping the floodwaters. You allow that, and suddenly every business that does not own its own land would get forced out as landlords get greedy to determine what can occupy the space. What's next after the hotels? Bars, vape shops, marijuana dispensaries, casinos? If we determine value specifically by profits, there's no limits to what greed can quickly destroy. But it's important that people know that this is not just the destruction of Wonderland. It's the fact that if Wonderland goes, if you change the zoning, that entire boardwalk and this entire island can be gone very quickly. And that's why we're all here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else have a question? Okay, sorry about that, man. You guys- folks, please try and be as brief as possible. There's a lot of folks waiting to get.
We have a lot of people that want to speak, so keep it 3, maybe 4 minutes, because I want everybody to be able to speak. It's a beautiful day out, and a lot of you want to go enjoy it. I'll stay as long as possible, but I want everybody to be able to speak. Mr. Mita will watch this meeting. We don't know, again, what's going to happen. So to go this far down the train, we don't know, okay? You spoke already, I understand. I completely understand what you said. I completely understand, okay? I'm giving this to Mita 6 months and I'm hoping that he comes out with something that we all like. And he's asked to do, it's his property, it's his right, and that's what we're gonna do. So.
I hope we like it.
I understand, sir. I understand, sir. I understand.
Hello.
I'm here in front of you, sir. Okay, I'm here in front of you. I'm listening to everything you're gonna say. That's why I'm here. I mean, listen, I have 100 people on, I have 100 people on Zoom here. This is the largest ward meeting ever. I have over 175 people here. So I'm more than, willing to do that and give you the best information I get as I get it. Go ahead.
No. As fourth generation business owner, I very much sympathize with the mayor and I can't imagine what he's going through. So I don't think we can put him down for that. That was a business financial decision. And I hope it doesn't happen to me.
The debt that I'm in right now, again, I'm being honest, everybody seems one that way, is I walk away, the light that used to pay, when I pay a loan down, they gave 3 years to get myself out of debt, which I could. So that's where it's at. So I mean, if you want to be bluntly honest for everything, so all the people think I got all this money, or I did all this devious stuff, so it doesn't matter. I gave every penny that I had, especially this summer. So again, I'm going to be paying for this.
All us business owners appear rich, but none of us truly are. But my question is concerning the beach parking lot area between 5th and 6th Street. I live across the street. I don't know who owns it, and if the city owns it, is it for sale? So I can rest in peace knowing nothing's happening to that.
You can rest in life too, knowing it too.
Who owns
Because I
that?
don't want you to go anywhere.
Who owns that lot, Keith? Who owns the
City,
lot?
it's a city lot.
City lot.
It's gonna be for parking.
Go in the back first, I'll be back.
You have to get the guy with the mic. He's in control.
When variances are given to builders, so this would also apply to Wonderland, but also to the private residences that are built, where does that money go? Because they're not free. So where does that variance money go?
I'll give it to the expert.
The money that you're talking about is application fees that go to the city to administer the application. The applicants also pay for professionals, the board professionals that review the applications and tell the zoning board or the planning board, give them an opinion as to whether it conforms, what needs to be done for it to comply with the law. The applicants also pay for their own professionals, attorney, engineer, architect, but there's no pot of money. Variances aren't sold. It's an application with an application fee. That's what gets paid to the city.